Once again, ladies and gentlemen, this is the Investor Show as always. This is your host, Prince Dykes, coming to you live from the beautiful state of Denver, Colorado. Don't forget to hit that like, subscribe, comment, and share button. As always, don't forget to hit the notification button and drop comments below if you got questions. And hit the thumbs up video if you like the video. And hit the thumbs up video if you don't like the video. But as always, I don't have a lot of time, and I definitely know you guys and girls don't have a lot of time, so we're going to jump straight into it. So as you guys can see in this video, this is going to be about two different ETFs. One is VOOV and the other one is VOOO. These are both Vanguard ETFs, exchange traded funds. One VOOV is the Vanguard fund that I have pulled up right here in front of you. It is the index. The last V stands for value, where you're supposed to go into the S&P 500. You can look at the strategy here in more detail, right? Right up on the strategy, you can see it right here that I have highlighted. The investment seeks to track the performance of the benchmark index that measures the index return to large capitalization, value stocks, United States of America. So this is using the S&P 500, taking the top companies in the S&P 500, and it's using whatever calculations that the fund manager decides to pick out value stocks to invest in. So one may say, hey, I can invest into value stocks that are in the S&P 500 just buying this ETF. Sounds great, right? But these are the first things I look at. The first thing I'm going to look at, how do you perform against the S&P 500? So let's go over here to charts. We're going to click on charts. As we get to charts, I'm going to go to max, take all this other stuff off. I went to max. The max is going to take me all the way back to September 20th, 2010, all the way into present day of August 6, 2018. First thing I'm going to do right here, I'm going to compare you to the S&P 500. Right here, the blue line is the S&P 500, and the other candlestick line is the VOOV. So it doesn't take a rocket science to see that it's underperforming the S&P 500. So first of all, if you're underperforming the S&P 500, you are automatically look at you sideways. Next thing I want to look at your fees. How much does this thing cost to own? So the fees are 0.15. Reason why I compare it to the S&P 500, because we know that is the what? The benchmark of finance. So you're underperforming the S&P 500. And also look at these fees of 0.15. And then I look at the fees of Voov, VOO, they are 0.04. So this one here is, I'm paying 400% more to hold this that is underperforming the S&P 500. Now, one of the other things I do kind of like, you have a nice dividend of 2.25, but that's okay. But one of the things when you go into the portfolio, you're going to see it has a 16% turnover ratio. When you have a turnover like this creates fees inside of this ETF because you're buying and selling, you're moving money around. So let's take a look at VOO, right? So now when we look at VOO, we see the expense ratio is 0.04, which is 400% lower than what I was looking at in the VOOV. They still have a dividend, but it's a slight lower than what the dividend that VOOV was handling. But the fees kind of cancel all of that out, right? Then we go to portfolio, we look at the turnover. They have a turnover of 3%. So this is mostly just tracking. It's not trying to beat anything. It's just particularly just tracking. Now, one of the things we're going to do is let's look how those fees add up over time. Now here I put up a cost analysis, right? And this showed one person who holds Voov for 20 years, VOO, Vanguard, VOO. This is the S&P 500, measured by Vanguard, and this is VOOV, which is the value index managed by Vanguard. You start off with zero. You put in $100 a month. Estimated return of 7%. That's S&P 500 average return over years, and you do it for 20 years. 20 years. Look at this. One person, the person who owns VOO is paying $157, and the person who owns VOOV is paying $585. About a 370% more fee for something that is underperforming the S&P 500, that has underperforming the S&P 500. So when you are underperforming, we go back here to the charts that we annotated here. That's Voov. We're going to go back to this chart here, VOV. We're going to look at the chart again that we saw earlier. We see that you are underperforming and I'm paying 300% more in fees. Now, granted, past performance is not a great indicator of future performance, but all I have to look at is what I see in front of me. So if I'm paying way more and you're not even beating the index, I might as well just go ahead and get the regular Voov. This is why I choose VOO versus VOOV. And don't forget to have your comments, questions, and concerns below. Until the next video, podcast, cartoon, or whatever else you see me do crazy around the globe. Peace, be safe, I'm out, and thank you.